Dr. Rita McGuire. I'm the Chief Medical Officer for Wakana, and I represent the pillar of health. I am a divorced mom of 3 amazing children, Jacob, Joshua, and Hannah, as well as I'm still a practicing physician. I'm an obstetrician gynecologist. I've been practicing for over 30 years. I can't even believe it. But yes, I still do hysterectomies, C-sections. I've transitioned my practice over to more cosmetic surgery right now, doing liposuctions and tummy tucks, and truly have been in the industry of cannabis for about 3 years now. In fact, when the adult use, recreational use law was being discussed, the governor of Illinois asked me to testify for the legalization and taxation of adult use cannabis. So I'm very, very passionate about this plant. I've been using cannabis in my practice for the last 3 years, and I'm excited to really talk about how cannabis, specifically CBD, can help those that we love, or maybe those who are on the line that smoke cigarettes. So how did I become a part of really advocating for this plant? Well, as a physician, and many physicians and healthcare providers right now, you know, I was really sick of sitting on the sidelines, really seeing so many patients that are on traditional pharmaceutical medications not get any better, right? So we see so many of our loved ones that are on 10, 15, 20 medications. And when I started to do my due diligence about the plant that you see on the right, I was like, wow, this will be an opportunity for so many patients to have a holistic option, a viable, holistic, organic option for their health. And so we know that the solution has always been in the ground. In fact, cannabis has been used medicinally for 6,000 years. I mean, this is a plant that God has given us, and an herb that has been used. Even we see testimonies in the Bible about cannabis and the anointing of priests. So a little bit about the cannabis plant, specifically the cannabis sativa species. Both marijuana and hemp come from the cannabis sativa plant, just different parts. Some cannabis sativa is grown and bred for THC, and THC stands for tetrahydrocannabinol. And THC is an active constituent, which is a compound or cannabinoid that the cannabis plant produces that gives us the high, that gives us that psychoactive property. Now, cannabis sativa is grown and also bred for hemp. Hemp not only has hundreds and thousands of industrial uses. I mean, we've used hemp for oils and topical ointments, fiber for clothing, paper. In fact, the very first Bible was constructed from paper that came from hemp. The very first Model T Ford that Henry Ford constructed was from hemp. But currently, only products that are made from industrial hemp that contain less than 0.3% of THC are legal to sell, buy, and consume, and ship in most states. So see, hemp does not get you high, well, unless you use it to make a rope and climb a tree, but it is the non-psychoactive or the non-high part of the cannabis plant that gives you all the health benefits. So let's look at the 2 main constituents, or the 2 main cannabinoids that the cannabis plant makes. It makes over 85 plus cannabinoids, but the 2 most common ones that you should know about is, again, THC or tetrahydrocannabinol, which is the psychoactive part that is primarily the majority constituent in the marijuana plant. And then we have CBD or cannabidiol, which is the non-psychoactive part of the plant. It's the part of the plant that doesn't get you high, but it is the main compound that is extracted from the hemp plant. And again, hemp is defined as containing less than 0.3% of THC, which is the legal limit. So THC, tetrahydrocannabinol, is this psychoactive compound, whereas CBD is the non-psychoactive compound. Because we know not everyone wants to get high. Many people, especially in my practice and practices I see in my colleagues, they just want to get that medicinal help. So hemp is not our enemy, ignorance is, and so we do a lot of educating through Wakana about the medicinal benefits that CBD being extracted from the hemp plant can give you. In fact, in 1988, this is a really interesting information that one of the DEA administrative judges was trying to deschedule cannabis back in the 80s. And what he found through a lot of research is that cannabis is safe. And nearly all medicines have toxic, potentially lethal effects, but cannabis is not such a substance. In fact, there's no recorded, despite extensive medical literature research, there's no recorded documented cannabis-induced fatality. Despite the long history and use and the extraordinary high numbers of people who have smoked cannabis, there's simply no credible medical reports that consuming cannabis has caused not one single death. Yet, hundreds and hundreds of deaths are attributed to aspirin each and every year. In fact, even animals, researchers were unable to even give animals enough cannabis to induce a death. In fact, they did a study and they said theoretically, you would have to give someone 1,500 pounds of cannabis within 15 minutes to induce a lethal response or even possibility of death. So we know that consuming aspirin or Motrin or Aleve, some of the over-the-counter medications can certainly cause gross injury to not only the liver and kidneys, but extensive internal bleeding can occur. Cannabis is far safer than many foods. Try eating 10 raw potatoes and see where that lands you. So it's physically impossible to eat or smoke enough cannabis to induce death. So fast forward after 80 years of hemp being a Schedule I drug. Let's talk about what a Schedule I drug is. A Schedule I drug are drugs that are, again, have produced no medicinal properties, but on that list is marijuana, heroin, LSD, ecstasy, and magic mushrooms. So for 80 years, hemp was a Schedule I drug, but the 2018 Farm Bill descheduled hemp. So what that means is that it legalizes hemp not only as an agricultural commodity, but it removes it from the controlled substance list. So hemp and CBD extracted from the hemp species is on a federal level legal in all 50 states under the 2018 Farm Bill. So what is CBD? Well, it's an abbreviation for cannabidiol. And again, CBD can come from marijuana and it can come from the hemp species, but it's the most common compound found in the hemp plant. It is unlike THC, and I cannot stress this enough, it does not cause a high. I've used it in my practice for the last 3 years in conjunction with other traditional forms of treatment for various diseases like diabetes, hypertension, lupus, fibromyalgia, anxiety, and depression, just to name a few. So when we look at the compounds that the cannabis plant makes, we can see truly that CBD has more of the medicinal properties that we're looking for. I mean, CBD not only is an antibacterial, but it inhibits cancer cell growth. It's neuroprotective. It protects our bones. It reduces seizures and convulsions. It reduces blood sugar levels in diabetics. It reduces the function in the immune system, which means it's very effective in those autoimmune diseases like lupus and fibromyalgia, where the immune system is hyperactive. It reduces inflammation and pain. It helps relieve anxiety. It suppresses muscle spasms. So it's used commonly in those who have multiple sclerosis. It also treats a lot of skin disorders like psoriasis and eczema and acne. And it's also a vasorelaxant, helps to come in and dilate vessels. We can see the other cannabinoids also have medicinal properties, and we'll talk about how this relates to those who smoke and the relief that they're looking for. But Delta-9 THC, again, helps to reduce nausea and vomiting. It relieves pain. It stimulates the appetite, which is really important sometimes to have a little THC around for those who are undergoing chemotherapy, those who may be HIV/AIDS positive and have a low weight. And it also, again, suppresses muscle spasms in those who have multiple sclerosis. So you can see that having all of those cannabinoids, the major ones in a product, can on a cellular level produce some pretty significant results. So hemp or CBD benefits the body. It helps the brain, the hand, the stomach, the leg, the intestines, the eyes, the heart. So many organs like the liver, the lungs, the bone, the intestinal tract. And so it's also important to know that our body also produces cannabinoids, just like the cannabis plant produces cannabinoids. But these cannabinoids that our body naturally produces are called endocannabinoids. And these endocannabinoids that our bodies produce, I don't know if you're on the line and maybe you remember if you were breastfed, but if you were breastfed, you were introduced to an endocannabinoid called an anandamide. But when our bodies get knocked out of balance, you know, the stress that we endure every day, sleep deprivation, the foods we're eating, be it processed or fried, the water we're drinking, the pesticides that are on our fruits and vegetables, all of these things knock our body out of balance. And so we're not able to produce enough of the naturally occurring endocannabinoids. And that's why we need CBD in our life. We need CBD in our life to put our bodies back in balance. But how does CBD work? There is truly a science behind how CBD works. And this science was actually discovered when I was in medical school. I attended Wayne State School of Medicine in Detroit in the early 90s. And the human endocannabinoid system is a system that has receptors in every single organ and gland in our body that is looking for cannabinoids, that are looking for the constituents or compounds that the cannabis plant makes, like CBD and THC and CBN and CBC and CBG. These receptors, they are found, again, on different parts of the body. The eyes, the lungs, the liver, the kidney, the bowel, the skin, the stomach, the teeth, the heart, the brain. They're found in the central nervous system. They're found in the periphery. They're found in the immune system. They're found in the adrenal glands. They are found in every single organ and gland in our body, because when our body gets knocked out of balance, that's when we start to develop inflammation, pain, anxiety, depression, even autoimmune diseases, because of the imbalance that our body is enduring. So tonight we're going to talk about how cannabis, specifically CBD, extracted from the hemp species, can help you stop smoking. So we know that the risk from smoking can damage every single part of our body. Smoking can cause cancers in the head or neck, lung cancer, leukemia, stomach cancer, kidney, pancreas, colon, bladder. and even cervical cancer. I see so many women in my practice that have had years of a smoking history that have developed cervical cancer from smoking. It also can cause chronic diseases like stroke and blindness and gum infection, aortic rupture, heart disease, pneumonia, hardening of the arteries, chronic lung disease and asthma, reduced fertility, and hip fracture. Unfortunately, my mom was a heavy smoker, and unfortunately, she passed away from complications due to coronary artery disease. So smoking can damage every single part of the body. We really want to help folks that are either on the line or maybe you know people in your family that we want to get this information to, because smoking truly is an issue. More than 1.1 billion people still smoke worldwide. And the primary addictive driver to cigarette smoking is nicotine withdrawal. That's why the addiction, that's why it's so hard to quit smoking, right? Because the withdrawal symptoms are awful. Let me tell you, I've never been a smoker, but about 7 weeks ago, I withdrew from sugar. And I'm telling you, I felt awful. So I can only imagine what it is like withdrawing from nicotine. It's probably the same, right? The headaches, the nausea, you're very anxious, you're mean, you're irritable, you're depressed. There's a delay in your cognitive function just from the withdrawal from nicotine. And that's why so many folks relapse, because the withdrawal symptoms are so awful, they're so severe that it's truly hard to quit smoking. Even the smoking cessation drugs that we have out, one being Chantix. Many of you who may know someone that has taken that medication, the side effects are awful. They include insomnia, nausea, abnormal dreams, constipation, vomiting. I mean, who wants that when they're trying to stop smoking and they're having withdrawal symptoms? So it's just a really hard thing. Even the statistics shows that smoking kills approximately 6 million people each year. And that cigarettes contain some pretty awful substances. About 7,000 chemical substances are found in tobacco. Some of the substances not only include nicotine, but arsenic, carbon monoxide, lead, and ammonia are in cigarettes. So 250 of those chemicals are known to be harmful, but 69 of those chemicals are known to cause cancer. So according to the World Health Organization study, tobacco continues to be the principal preventable cause of death in the world. This is a preventable thing that we can help others from passing away from. So according to another study, nicotine is just as addictive, or can be, as heroin and cocaine. Why? Because nicotine stimulates two very powerful substances in our brain, and that's dopamine and serotonin. These are the pleasure neurotransmitters, right? They give the brain, once we start smoking, they give us that intense pleasurable sensation that we love. You know, you get stressed out, you have some sort of trigger. What do smokers do? They light up a cigarette. So about 35 million people know that this is bad for their health and they want to break the habit. So the information tonight we're going to share with you is going to help them do that. So we're going to talk about quickly some research that shows how CBD can help, right? This is actual data that came out of the Addictive Behavior Journal in 2013. So any healthcare providers that are on the line, you can get these studies from me later. But what this study did was that they took 24 smokers and they split those smokers into two groups. One was given an inhaler that contained CBD, and the other 12 were given an inhaler. It was a vape pen that contained no CBD. It was just a placebo. And what they found is that after 1 week, they found that the group that they had given the CBD inhalers to decreased their cigarette consumption by 40%. Now that's statistically significant. And those that were given the placebo had absolutely no difference in the amount of cigarettes that they smoked that week. And what was very fascinating is that they didn't ask those smokers to stop smoking. All they did was told them, each time you have an urge to smoke a cigarette, we want you to smoke this inhaler. So very significant study that came out of that research. And so what we find is that CBD, vaping CBD specifically, and using CBD oil under the tongue, not only decreased their consumption, but it also reduced the withdrawal symptoms and the intense cravings. And that's because CBD works on the serotonin and those dopamine pathways in the brain to give that pleasure center a break. And so we see again here that one of the number one withdrawal symptoms that we see in anyone, you know, coming off of sugar, coming off of caffeine, alcohol, cigarettes, tobacco, opioids, is depression, right? Those people are depressed, they're irritable, they're anxious. And so again, CBD has receptors within the endocannabinoid system within the brain to help serotonin and dopamine to be released and to be in higher levels throughout the body so people feel good. So let's move on to our products that we have here at Wakana. And I want to specifically talk about products that are going to be beneficial in those who smoke and want to stop smoking. Disclaimers that these statements have not been approved by the FDA. Our products should not be used to treat, cure, prevent, or diagnose your condition. If you are nursing, pregnant, or on medication, or under a doctor's care, always consult with your physician prior to consuming any nutraceutical or nutritional products. So what makes our products at Wakana unique? Our products are very unique. No other CBD products are you going to find like ours here at Wakana. Well, we provide some of the most rich medicinal hemp that is fully compliant with the State Department of Agriculture regulations. And what that means is that our products are grown organically, and they have to go through specific criteria and stipulations to be compliant with the State Department of Agriculture regulations. One is being the hemp plant has to be grown organically. It has to contain the legal limit of THC, which is 0.3. Our products are also industrial hemp registered, as well as our products are Farm Bill compliant. Again, according to Section 7606 of that 2018 U.S. Farm Bill, the CBD has to come from the hemp plant and not the marijuana plant to be legal. So here is our product line. These are just some of our products. We have two lines. We have a power line, and you can see on the left, those are the products that have the black label, and those are the products that are deemed full spectrum. They contain those major cannabinoids that we discussed, along with the legal limit of THC, which is 0.3% or less. And on the right is our other crown jewel of CBD products. Those are our pure products. Those are what we call our broad spectrum products. Those are products that contain less than 0.0% of THC. These products, pure products, are great for those who have random drug screens at their job. This product, the pure product, also has a proprietary formulation of a delivery system called nanotechnology. Nanotechnology allows the CBD oil to be more bioavailable. So the pure nanotechnology products have a bioavailability of 98.7%. That means that that CBD oil is very available and efficient on a cellular level. So the number one product I would recommend for those out there, or for those who are on the line that know someone that is a smoker and they want to quit smoking, are our vape oil cartridges. Well, let's talk about vape oil cartridges, because many of you may have heard on the news that there were many deaths from people vaping, and there were hundreds and even thousands of mysterious lung diseases that came from vaping. Well, we know from the FDA and all of the studies that they did on those folks were that they were vaping black market products. They were vaping products that they were getting off the street and they didn't know their source. And that's why it's important to have a very quality, potent product from Wakana that you're using, a product that is double certified. It is third-party validated. It is tested for metals, heavy metals, toxins, mold, mildew. It's also tested to ensure that the legal limit of THC are in the products. The FDA also found in those black market vape oil cartridges that the filler that they use was vitamin E. Yeah, vitamin E of all things. When you heat vitamin E, it becomes very toxic to the lung, and that's what caused a lot of demise and injury to the lungs in those folks. So our vape oil cartridges do not contain any vitamin E, doesn't contain any toxic chemicals. It contains organic CBD oil, and our carrier oil is MCT coconut oil. And what I love about vape oil cartridges for those who want to stop smoking is the onset of action. The onset of action is within 1 to 5 minutes. So if you have someone that already smokes and already has that, desire to put something up to their lips, it's a vape oil cartridge that you want to start out with those folks. It's going to help them get through not only the withdrawal symptoms that they're going to be having when they come off of tobacco, nicotine, cigarettes, but it's also going to help their mood. It's going to help that anxiety level come down. It's going to help that depression come down. It's going to help those folks sleep because they have issues with insomnia. And it's also going to increase the dopamine and serotonin levels that they're used to getting when they smoke nicotine. So the vape oil cartridge is the number one product that I feel that everyone that smokes, that wants to stop smoking, start with. So again, vaping CBD is assimilated in the lungs and quickly dispersed in the bloodstream. It's really important to know that you must purchase a battery. And the battery that is specifically safe for vaping is a battery that does not heat the oil any higher. And that battery charge should be 350 megahertz. That will avoid burning the CBD oil. And again, vaping CBD, there's no risk of toxic substances that we find in tobacco, like nicotine and propylene glycol, glycerin, arsenic, carbon monoxide, and lead, just to name a few. Again, the benefits of vaping CBD, the onset of action is within 1 to 5 minutes, so it's very fast. And it's 60% bioavailable to the cell, so very efficient. Our other product that I want to talk about that would be great for those who smoke is our CBD pre-rolls. Our CBD pre-rolls is a CBD joint. It contains 163 milligrams of CBD with 0.3% or less of THC. And again, it's fast acting. Within 1 to 5 minutes, you're going to get relief. Now, with the pre-rolls, as well as the vape oil cartridge, you don't need to smoke the whole thing. Using 1 to 3 pulls, maybe 2 to 3 times a day, is really all you need. Or Each time you have that urge to smoke, you can take 1 to 3 pulls on that vape cartridge or our pre-rolls. You don't want to smoke the entire pre-roll because it's 163 milligrams of CBD, and no one needs all of that in one day. So we're going to move on to our other products that I feel that will be very beneficial in those who smoke, that want to quit smoking, and that is our CBD tinctures, our oils. Now, it's really important to use the oil properly, and that is by putting the oil underneath the tongue and holding it under the tongue for a minute before you swallow. That ensures that the oil is being absorbed adequately in the glands underneath the tongue so it can get into the bloodstream. And the oil takes about 15 to 20 minutes to get into the bloodstream. It's also important not to eat or smoke for at least 15 to 30 minutes so that you'll have optimal absorption. So what I recommend is that you combine the vape cartridge or a pre-roll with a CBD oil. Yes, do both because you want that CBD oil to be penetrating in the bloodstream all day. You want to use the vape cartridge or the pre-roll for those acute issues of anxiety or cravings that you may have during the day. So our first tincture I want to talk about is our Hemp MD. It is our most potent product. It will deliver about 750 milligrams of CBD in the entire bottle, and it's more of our therapeutic CBD oil. Again, starting with 3 drops twice a day is a great way to start, along with using that vape oil cartridge or a pre-roll. So that means that the oil will be used twice a day, and that vape oil cartridge or the pre-roll will be used 2 to 3 times a day, or whenever you have the craving to smoke a cigarette. Now, if you see after 4 or 5 days that those cravings or withdrawal symptoms are pretty severe, you can increase those drops to 8 drops twice a day. Or even after a week, you can increase it as high as 15 drops twice a day. Our next product that we offer for those who want to stop smoking is our Hempranium 500. Now, this is a very unique product. No other CBD products on the marketplace has a proprietary formulation. Not only do we have CBD in this product, but we have enhanced this product with turmeric, black seed, peppermint, and we use 2 carrier oils, MCT coconut oil and hemp seed oil. This is an amazing product because we know turmeric and black seed by itself have many, many medicinal properties, reducing inflammation, helping with pain, anxiety, and the peppermint gives it a very nice flavor. Again, this is a tincture. You put it under your tongue. You hold it for a minute before you swallow. Starting out with 3 drops twice a day, increasing to 8 drops twice a day, and maximum dose is 15 drops a day. Again, I highly recommend that you use this in conjunction with that vape oil cartridge or that CBD pre-roll. And then we have another product that is a non-flavored tincture for those who don't like turmeric or black seed or peppermint. This is a tincture, again, used the same way as the other ones, putting it underneath the tongue, holding it for a minute before you swallow. But what I love about this product, you can also bake and cook with it. So if you're a smoker and you want to, have some brownies or cookies and you still want to work on that smoking issue, you can actually use this particular product in your baked goods and cooking as well. So really, really excited about that product. Now let's move on to our pure products, because some of you on the line may want to quit smoking, but you have random drug screens at your job. So the pure product, the broad spectrum product that contains less than 0.0% THC is the product you want to use. Again, this product is powered by Hempranium, which means it has a proprietary formulation, a special, unique formulation, only unique to Wakana, that includes turmeric, black seed, and peppermint. This particular product is 300 milligrams of CBD in the entire bottle. And again, starting low and starting slow, 3 drops twice a day, 8 drops twice a day, or 15 drops a day. Twice a day is the maximum dose. Now, for this particular person that has random drug screens at their job, unfortunately, right now, you would not be able to use our vape oil cartridge or our pre-roll because both of those products do contain the legal limit of THC. But absolutely, this product alone will be very, very effective in helping you to quit smoking. And then we have gummies. Gummies are a great way to address not only the nicotine withdrawal symptoms, but to address one important issue that those who are coming off of tobacco or nicotine have, and that's insomnia, the inability to get a good night's rest. So I'm telling you, using a gummy at night along with your vape oil cartridge, along with that tincture, is the combination that I recommend to all of those that want to quit smoking. Now, this is our pure gummy, which contains less than 0.0% THC. It contains 25 milligrams of CBD. It takes about 40 to 60 minutes to get into the bloodstream. So I eat a gummy every single night about an hour before I want to go to sleep. So again, you know, quitting cigarette smoking is not easy. It truly is not easy. It's not easy because the withdrawal symptoms are awful. The pleasure symptoms are centers in our brain are conditioned that if we have some sort of stimulus or we have some sort of situation that's stressful, what is the first thing we go to? Smoking a cigarette. So we know that research has already shown that CBD absolutely is a viable option without all the side effects that we have in so many of our nicotine patches, the Chantix, and all the other smoking cessation pharmaceutical products that we're using on our patients today. So CBD, yes, research has shown to be very helpful. So let's see what happens once that CBD kicks in and you are not smoking anymore. Well, just after 20 minutes of you quitting smoking, your heart rate and blood pressure levels return to normal. In 8 hours, the carbon monoxide starts to leave the body and the oxygen levels return to normal. In 24 hours, mucus and debris that caused by smoking begins to clear out of your lungs. In 48 hours, the nicotine is no longer in the body and senses improvement. In 2 to 12 weeks, the breathing improves. We see folks are able to exercise. In 3 to 9 months, coughing and breathing problems have been reduced and the lung starts to repair itself. And in 1 year after you quit smoking, your risk of coronary artery disease is now 50% lower than a smoker. So it truly, truly helps to know that as you stop smoking, as the CBD kicks in, the improvement that the body and the repair that it can do within a year is very, very significant. So here are some of the studies, if you're a healthcare professional, or even if you're not, here are some of the studies that you can look more into and the information that I've gotten for our presentation. So that's the end of our presentation. I'm actually going to open up the line because we have some pretty, if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat area. I've been giving my mom CBD for smoking and some other issues. She actually had an urge today and I gave her a pre-roll and it worked. Well, thank you, Ms. Townsend, for that information. So the pre-rolls really worked for her mom. And so we are hoping that, you know, we continue that so that we can have her smoke-free. Hi, this is Marilyn. I was wondering about CBD and PCOS and insulin resistance. Yes, there's a lot of studies, Marilyn, that talk about how CBD decreases the inflammatory process. of the pancreas. It causes to improve blood sugar, PCOS, that's polycystic ovarian syndrome. These women have insulin resistance. They're many times having to be placed on metformin. CBD will also help to manage your weight. It will help to manage the inflammation and absolutely will improve insulin resistance. Great, great question. Any other questions? I'm going to have two folks give their testimonies. I'm going to have you start putting your questions in the chat area because I do take time to answer questions. So I'm going to open up the line here. I'm going to find some folks that have had significant results on using these products and they don't smoke anymore. So I'm sure you want to hear from them as well. Okay. Tammy, can you talk?
Can you hear me, Dr. Rita?
I can hear you. Just give us the testimony.
The testimony is my mom and the CBD, the vape, it worked. I don't know why we blinked out, but we went out. I didn't know that CBD at that time would give her the results that it did, but my mom had been smoking for years. And the end result was, after 3 days of using her vape, she began to curtail her cigarettes. And it got to a point where my mom had quit smoking by about 60% of what she was accustomed to. Eventually, my mom did not smoke anymore. And we were all very, very happy because we're talking about over 25 years of smoking as much as 2 to 3 packs a day. And she was done with cigarettes, and I was grateful for that. So thank you. And it really worked for my mom. So I hope this helps somebody.
Thank you so much, Tammy, for that testimony for your mom. Is anyone else on the line for a testimony?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Firstly, good evening, Dr. Rita and the Wakanda Nation. My name is David. I'm Tammy's son, of course. And I have to say that ever since I started using the vape, because mind you, I used to smoke Newports a lot. Like I would say about a pack a day, something like that. You know, and the big thing for me is it's a habitual thing. It's not necessarily that you're getting a feel for it anymore. It's just something that you do out of habit.
Right.
So once I started, enjoying the vape, it was incredible because, I vaped marijuana before, but you don't always want to be high.
Exactly.
You don't always want to walk around, stoned, as they say, So as I'm using this vape, it's giving me the feeling of like just the how it tastes and everything is incredible. The same effect that you're looking for as a smoker, that feeling. Like, I let other smokers try and they're like, yeah, I like this. This is like smoking. But you're putting all the nutrients and essential elements that you need to put back into your body in order for it to be right. Like it's just incredible. Like I recommend this for anybody who is trying to stop smoking cigarettes, trying to cut back on smoking weed. It's definitely something to I would say try or even invest in.
That is fantastic, David. So David, how much would you vape, would you say?
I probably maybe twice a day, maybe, I would say.
Okay.
It's not something that but see, I used to smoke cigarettes a lot, so vaping would have been, when I first started vaping, I would probably vape continuously throughout the day.
Got it.
But once you get to a point where it's not a habit anymore, it's just something that it's almost like a regimen, like taking a vitamin, like working out. Like once you hit to a certain amount of reps, you don't really have anything else to really prove. It's just you maintain at that point. So it's just maybe twice, 3 times a day at the most.
And what were your withdrawal symptoms like?
Well,
did you have any?
For starters, mucus, really bad. Like definitely. That the vape definitely helped me break up a lot of mucus. is, yeah, that cigarette mucus is like no other. So that, along with, I would say sweats, but irritability,
Yeah.
definitely.
That irritability can be, really bad. Really bad. Wow. So you are how old, David?
I'll be 27 in September.
Wow. That is such a great thing that you are, nicotine free now, tobacco, cigarette free, because I'm telling you, I've seen it firsthand, years and years of smoking, and my mom, and how that can really cause so many issues. So thank you for sharing, mom and son. Thank you for sharing those very powerful testimonies with the listeners tonight.
Thank you for allowing us to do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take any other questions that you may have as it relates to our topic tonight. Let's get the questions as it relates to the topic tonight. The topic of tonight is how CBD and our products here at Wakana can be used for those who are smokers and want to quit smoking. And what we talked about is that, yes, there's research, there's data that shows that CBD not only helps to increase those pleasure centers in the brain, it actually helps to withdraw symptoms from nicotine, but it really significantly shows those who use CBD and vaped it had a 40% decrease in consumption. So that's very statistically significant. We also talked about the other products, the tinctures, the oils, and the gummies, that I feel that if you're a smoker, someone that smokes and they want to stop, you need to pair the vape and or the pre-roll with the tincture, the water soluble, and the gummies, okay? Those products all need to be used. So a gummy at night to help with sleep, the vape cartridge or the pre-roll for those acute issues, and then the oil or the water soluble that will be in the bloodstream long-term all day. Yes, the same concerns with smoking and pregnancy. So absolutely, if you are pregnant and you are smoking and you have a physician that is open, absolutely, I would rather my patient who is pregnant to use CBD than a patient that is pregnant that's smoking cigarettes. We see a lot of pretty devastating results from smoking and pregnancy. We see something called abruptio, when the placenta prematurely separates from the uterus. We see IUGRs. We see that means that babies, their birth weights are really small because of smoking. So yes, CBD would be very helpful in those pregnant moms who smoke. I also wanted to add that since this is Miss Townsend, since her mom's been here with me about a month, she hasn't had a nicotine gum since she's been taking our products. Oh my God, that's so awesome. So your mom's been with you since February 3rd. She's getting great results, not having to have any nicotine gum. And I love, love, love the fact that we are really helping her. So if you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to type my email address in the chat section. It's drritamac@yahoo.com. We want you to contact the person that invited you on this line so that we can get those products ordered for you, ordered for your loved ones. And if you are one of our business partners here at Wakana, I hope this information has really helped you so that you can effectively talk to your clients, your co-workers, your neighbors who may be smokers, and help them to be smoke-free. So good night. We'll see you next Wednesday evening, same time, 8 p.m., same ID number, 375-679-941. Have an amazing rest of your evening. Good night.